If you've ever watched an overcooked turkey explode in a microwave, you'll understand the exact look on Karen's face when her Wi-Fi router lit up like a Christmas tree and locked her out of her own network. 1 second, she's out on her patio, smug as ever, sipping Chardonnay and bragging to anyone who will listen about her untraceable signal jammers. And the next, she's shrieking at her iPad, which suddenly blares, "System compromised, network breach detected." And the best part? She had absolutely no clue that my 12-year-old son, Max, was sitting in our upstairs window with a laptop legs crossed, grinning like he'd just beaten the final boss in a game only he knew how to play. If there's one universal rule in our neighborhood, it's this: don't pick a fight with the quiet kid who builds Minecraft servers for fun and treats cybersecurity like a contact sport. Yeah, that happened. So, how did we get here? Let me back up a sec. About 3 weeks before the Wi-Fi, Armageddon, our home internet started dropping out every single evening at exactly 6. At first, I blamed the usual suspects: the provider, the modem, Mercury, and retrograde, whatever. We replaced routers called tech support so many times I could recite their troubleshooting steps in my sleep, but nothing worked. That's when my wife, sharp as ever, noticed a pattern. Every outage happened only when Karen, our next-door neighbor and self-declared queen of the HOA, was home. Karen's the type who files noise complaints about wind chimes, refers to herself in third person, and once tried to ban Halloween decorations for aesthetic terrorism. She's a force of nature armed with a clipboard Bluetooth headset and the world's most pathological need for control. So I decided to test a theory. One night I stood on my driveway with my phone, watching the Wi-Fi signal plummet, exactly 3 minutes after Karen pulled into her garage. I walked in locked eyes with Max and said, "I think the wicked witch is jamming us." Max just smiled the unsettling kind kids get when they know more than you do, and said, "Want me to confirm it?" 20 minutes later, he'd triangulated the signal. Not only was Karen blocking our Wi-Fi, she was rerouting Bluetooth traffic to a ghost server named HOA plus Secure. This wasn't just petty. She was trying to snoop. Most people would confront her. I considered it until I watched her come outside and scream at a delivery guy for parking too parallel to her mailbox. That's when I knew this wasn't a woman who responded to reason. She responded to control. And the only way to beat her at her own game was to let Max play. Now, Max isn't your average kid. He's chess grandmaster. Calm listens more than he talks, never bluffs, never rushes. So when I handed him the backup firewall laptop, an old Dell, I'd long forgotten he booted it up like it was Christmas morning. The next day, he'd built something called the Fly Trap Protocol, a decoy Wi-Fi labeled homeowner source network source 2, open for anyone to join, but actually a high-level honeypot with dynamic scrambling and reverse snooping. Of course, Karen couldn't resist. The minute her jamming device hit that signal, Max's trap snapped shut. Her device ID was cloned, her router forced into a diagnostic reboot, and every smart device in her house started blasting elevator jazz on a loop. I'm talking Girl from Ipanema at full volume. Her fridge flashed, "Next time, ask nicely." I sipped tea on my porch, watching her charge out in a silk robe, waving a Wi-Fi analyzer like a magic wand, screaming, "Who the hell is broadcasting on my frequency?" The irony. It was her own pattern fed right back to her. Next morning, an anonymous HOA violation slip appeared on our door: unauthorized signal broadcasting. No signature, just her chicken scratch handwriting. I slid it into our scrapbook, the Karen Chronicles, and laughed. But she wasn't humiliated, she was furious. She called an emergency board meeting, claimed we were running an illegal tech hub from our attic, and even had the HOA's lawyer send us a cease and desist. Adorable. Meanwhile, Max had already moved to phase 2, documenting her every interference frequency and device, quietly compiling a dossier for the FCC. Less than a week later, a white van with government plates rolled up. Karen, who'd greeted everyone in the cul-de-sac like old friends, turned ghost pale when the agent flashed a badge and asked for her signal devices. But here's where things get wild. Karen doubled down. She wrote a 23-page complaint filled with technical nonsense and buzzwords painting Max as some kind of digital supervillain and demanded a neighborhood-wide ban on algorithmic malice. You can't make this stuff up. And because the universe has a sense of humor, she managed to get a hearing date in small claims court naming Max a middle schooler as the neighborhood destabilizer. My wife, who is normally the peacemaker, lost it. She called the HOA nonstop, threatened to sue for harassment, and told Max, "You didn't do anything wrong, but we're fighting this by the book." Max just shrugged. "She gave me the perfect stage," he said. We prepped for 2 weeks. He found evidence that Karen wasn't just jamming our house. She'd been scanning everyone's smart devices, baby monitors, thermostats, even wireless doorbells. Max wanted to educate, not just win. He built a slideshow called Digital Safety and Suburban Warfare, breaking down the breach, escalation, and retaliation. The day of the hearing, Karen strode in dressed like she was auditioning for Law and Order HOA. Her lawyer smirked. The judge looked annoyed, and when asked for our response, Max took over. 12 minutes later, after log screenshots and a voice recording of Karen discussing override privileges, the judge dismissed the case on the spot, warned Karen about frivolous lawsuits, and left her lawyer slinking out in shame. "You'd think it'd end there, right?" "Nah." Karen went full scorched earth. Flyers warning of digital renegades and Wi-Fi warlocks appeared in every mailbox. Then she installed a giant metal box between our homes labeled HOA Network Monitoring Station, authorized use only, with blinking lights and a fake HOA Tech Department sticker. Max, ever the tactician, pinged it with random noise, just enough to keep it busy. Karen came out wearing sunglasses, muttering into a walkie-talkie like she was running NORAD. She even called the police, who took one look and left laughing. Then came the fire marshal. Turned out Karen built the box herself, ran a power cable from her house, and filed for a fake HOA infrastructure variance. Officials clipped the power and hauled it away, leaving Karen red-faced and shaking, screaming at me about hostile environments and climate of intimidation. Someone in the group chat made a meme of her as the Death Star Carnea, the surveillance station. It went viral overnight, but then she went silent. Max checked no more signals, no more jamming. For a second I thought maybe, just maybe, it was over, until he picked up audio of Karen late at night plotting something called Phase Zulu. Max built a decoy network, the Zoo, a fake version of the entire block, ready to catch whatever digital havoc she was planning. Sure enough, 3 nights later, her new device tried to hijack the whole neighborhood. Instead, she trapped herself in a virtual house of mirrors, with every fake device mocking her attack, culminating in a message from Max's digital assistant. "We see you, Karen," she screamed, yanked cables, and by dawn, she was gone. SUV packed, vanished from the block. But drama loves company. The real HOA board called an emergency meeting, the clubhouse packed tighter than the 4th of July barbecue when Ed nearly set the shrubs on fire. With county officials present, the audit results dropped. Karen had never been officially elected, had spent HOA funds on her own gadgets, and signed a 10-year tech contract with her cousin's company, all without approval. Max presented the proof, asked only that every bogus fine Karen slapped on our family get erased and that her abuse of power be acknowledged. The room erupted in applause. Then Karen, wild-eyed and unhinged, barged in, screeched about betrayal and child-run governments, and was escorted out by auditors investigating her for fraud. That night, sitting on the porch, the air finally quiet, Max sipped his soda and said, "You know, she'll probably try something again." I grinned and asked if he was planning another protocol. Already did. Karen Trap 2.0. I didn't ask for details. I just watched the sun go down, finally unbothered, finally unplugged from the madness, at least for now. So let me ask you, who really owns the neighborhood? The ones who control with fear, or the ones who fight back with a little creativity and a whole lot of nerve? Drop your thoughts below. Is justice ever really that simple? Or do we just keep building better mousetraps? Let's hear your stories.